All right, hello there, everybody. So today we're going to kind of review what we did in class the other day as far as some basic unwrapping. And so I've got Maya loaded up here, as you can see, and I'm going to go on into Moodle, and let's grab, actually while I'm here, let's take care of something else too. Let's go ahead and hide this enrollment verification. We're kind of done with that. All right, so let's go ahead and I go back to your student view. So let's go ahead and grab that sample objects UV unwrap that we have in the example section there in Maya. And also, don't forget this Maya Essentials document that we have here. This also provides things on materials and stuff like that. So don't forget that that is available. Since we don't have a textbook for this class, I'm trying to provide as much as I can in Moodle as well as through these videos. So I'm going to go ahead and show this in my folder and get this loaded up into Maya. So let's put that over there. Let's grab Maya again. And I'm going to pull my UV examples and put it right there. Yes. So some basic objects that you guys, well, you built these in 3D modeling or are working on building these in 3D modeling. So I'm going to go ahead and do some things here. I'm thinking what I'm going to focus on is probably this one. Maybe get both of them done. We'll see. I don't want this video to be too terribly long, but it is. I do want to provide this resource for what we did in class. All right, so first thing I want to do is I want to select this other one. I'm going to go ahead and hide it by pressing the H key. And you know what? Let me do something. Okay, so I went ahead and got another application running that tells you what keys I'm pressing because I might forget to say them. So I've got that guy selected, so I'm going to go ahead and press the H key. Oops, I'm not in Maya. I'm somewhere else. My cable is getting wrapped up here. H, go away. There it is. Okay, and so now I'm on this guy. I'm also going to go ahead and get rid of this grid because the grid line doesn't really help me, and you can look at that right there. See, I don't want the outliner anymore. So Windows outliner, go away. Oops, just pull it out of there. Close that. Okay, that's looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and start this off with, I'm going to do an automatic unwrap on this thing. So up here in UV automatic, right there. And by default, it's going to try to do 6 planes, which will be this side, top, bottom, this side, and then from that side. 6 planes is usually going to be just about what you want with automatic. You can either do less distortion or fewer pieces. It's however you want to do it. And I'm going to kind of do some stitching with these once I get these projected out. So go ahead and do a project right there. You can see my projection maps. Go to my UV editor, which came up on my other screen. Here's my UV toolkit, which is a nice thing to have. All right, so here's my UV editor, and here it is all laid out in this 1-1 space. So what I want to do is I want to try to put this together a little bit better, and I want to eliminate as many seams as I can. Now, it's interesting when you use something like Quixel Substance, which we'll be using pretty soon, the seams matter a whole lot less than they used to, but it is still just, it's the fewer seams we have, just the better process we're going to have all in all. Also, another good rule of thumb is if it's the bottom or if it's towards the bottom of the model, it should probably be towards the bottom here. By that I mean everything should be oriented in the same direction. So give you an idea what I'm talking about. I'm going to change right here. Actually, I'm going to change my whole view. So in Maya over here, I'm going to go to Windows, Workplaces, and I'm going to switch to the UV editing view. Since I'm only on one monitor here, this will make it a little bit easier for you guys to see everything I'm doing. So Alt left mouse button. Okay, so I'm going to hold down my right mouse key and go to UV shell, which allows me to select things by shelled chunks. And each one of these white lines you see, these are the seams. So I'm going to select this guy. No, not that guy. I'm going to select this guy, which we can see right here, right? And I'm going to call this right here the top of my model, primarily because that is the positive y-axis. Okay, so it makes sense. So the bottom of the model is down here. So that means the top of the model, that this thing, if I follow my idea of bottom to top in my UV layout, if I switch to a face mode, that face right there, I want that face going up and this face going down. So to specify that a little bit better, let's go ahead back to UV. I'm going to grab this. Actually, I'm going to grab all of these. I'm just going to move them out of my 1-1 space really quick, like so. And I'm going to grab this guy, and I'm going to pull it back over here. So what I want is I want this face right here up. So I want this rotated, okay? So let's go back to our UV shell, select it. I'm going to come over here to my rotation. And then in my UV toolkit over here, let's scroll down to our transform. And inside our rotation tools right here, I'm going to turn my snap on, which it is on because I've done this on here before. By default, that's usually turned off. So this is going to force it to snap 15 degrees at a click or at a turn. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stitching some things together. I'm going to arbitrarily decide that this edge down here is going to be my one seam on this, as well as these sides right here where it goes up with that. So let's see. So that means I want to do some stitching up here. So I have a couple of ways to do it, but first, I don't know why I did control. First, I want to select that. I'm going to then come up here to my cut and sew tool and hit move and sew. And it brought the piece that belongs there and it stitched it. And notice we no longer have a white line right there. We no longer have that seam. So then I'll continue on with my next part here. I'll select those, cut and sew, move and sew, and it stitched that one. And I'm going to keep going until I'm ready to wrap around. That's the point where I have finished stitching them. Okay, there we go. That should be it. And yes, it is. Good enough. So let's go ahead back to my UV shell. And I'll just kind of grab that W for my movement. And I'll just put it down there somewhere. Okay, so next up, I want to go after maybe this thing. Okay, so let's find it. I'm going to pull it over into this area. And I'm thinking this part will probably be a different material than this base section down in there. Let's go back to our edge mode. I'm going to grab that edge so I can see that bottom is down here, top is up there, so it's oriented the way I want. This is good. Cut and sew, move and sew, and I'm just going to repeat this process. Cut and sew, move and sew, cut and sew, and a move and sew. And we should be wrapping around, and we are. So now let's come over and grab another. Let's grab that shell there. Let's find it. Where is it? It's right here. Okay, so I'll put it here. And let's see what kind of layout we have on that. Yep, we still have top, bottom, looks good. Cut and sew, move and sew. Until we are wrapping around again, which we are there. Okay, good progress. So let's go back to our UV shell. Let's grab this section right there, which is this part. Okay. Go to our edge. Okay, we're still top oriented, so this is looking good. Cut and sew, move and sew. Grab this one, cut and sew, move and sew, cut and sew, move and sew, and we're wrapping around. Okay, so let's go back to our UV shell. Let's grab that shell, which is this one over here. Go back to our edge, and grab that edge. Okay, still top, nice. And do a move and sew, move and sew, move and sew. Oops, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm not even paying attention. I'm just clicking stuff, move and sew. Get this guy, cut and sew, move and sew, and we're wrapping. All right, now I'm going to do something a little bit different with these pieces this time, okay? So what I want to do is get this cable out of my way. I'm going to go ahead and let's do a UV shell. I want to select this. And let's come up here and just to take a look at some other tools we have here. I'm going to go to, let's find it. What I want is right here. Let's go to unfold. That didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. Okay. So I'll just do this manually at the moment. So I'm going to get all these internal edges here. And I'm going to do this completely differently from how we did it in class. See if I can get slightly different UV space utilization. So I've got those selected. I'm going to do a Shift X, which cut them. Control. You can go cut right here. You can see the cut under cut and sew. Shift X, that just cut those. So that created new shells. So if I go to UV shell, there you go. You can see new shells, right? All right. I want to do that for all of these guys. So I'm going to go back to my edge mode. I'm going to select that one. I'm going to hold down Shift and double click, and it got a bunch of them, but not all of them. Let's go down here. Okay. There we go. All right. Shift X. There we are. Let's do this guy. Get these selected. And then we'll cut them out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stitch these and kind of have them lay against the bumpers that they would be attached to. And it should give me a different UV space utilization. All right, Shift X. Okay, so those are all cut apart. So let's come back over here. Go to a UV shell. I'm going to grab this shell. Let's just move it over here. And I want some edges. So I'm going to go with that edge. Shift. I'll go ahead and grab all these edges. Let's do a cut and sew, move and sew. There we go. Now let's grab these edges. Do another cut and sew, move and sew. And I'm going to leave those vertical splits just because it's really not going to let me stitch otherwise. I mean, it'll come up. I'll get a lot of distortion, so I'm just going to leave those extra pieces. But you can already picture how much new space I'm getting by doing it this way. So I'll come in here, do another edge. Now, that's not to say there's anything necessarily wrong with that approach, but this is definitely giving me more space. So I can get a higher pixel resolution. Do another cut and sew. Move and sew. There we go. And that's all of them. Okay, so let's take a look at what we actually have over there now. Let me kind of move this over. Let's turn on our grid. There it is. It wasn't there. I couldn't see it. I was like, where'd it go? It kind of buried itself in there. Okay, so what we've done, you can see I've got a little bit of skewing going on down in that area. I'm going to change this to UV shell, or face mode will work. So you can see there's a little bit of skewing going down in those areas, but I'm not really all that worried about that. Some skewing is definitely not going to be the end of the world. This right here is just a rotation. My squares are still nice and square, but I just have little rotations there. Everything's looking pretty good on this layout now. To get an idea, a better idea of that, let's go to our UV shell and let's grab, not that one, let's grab this one. And this is what I'm trying to do. Okay, so here you can see where the seam problem is, right? Now, if I stitch that together, I'm going to get some different type of behavior, and I could try stitching it together. If we want to take a look at that, see what we can do, we can go up to our edge mode, and I'm going to select that edge right there, which is the one that I cared about. And let's go ahead and do a cut and sew. Oh, let's try a sew. All right, so there you go. You can see that now on that seam we're even, but right in here we're getting that type of behavior. So let's see what else we can do for this. Let's go ahead and stay on our edge mode. So I'll go ahead and sew some other ones of these together here. There's not that many. So there we go. And then you wrap around. Yep. Okay, so let's take this whole UV shell. Let's just grab this whole shell right here. I'm just going to move it over here. And I'm going to come up here to our modify, and let's try using this optimize and see if we can get this to kind of lay down any smoother here. So I'll just bring up my optimize options. And I'm only going to do the one iteration. Now, if I change this to Legacy, this is the Relax, which if you're used to 3ds Max, this is kind of that's what was done in 3ds Max. So we can do either one of these. I'm going to take a look at the Legacy one just as something different, and I'm going to change that to just 1, and let's see what happens. So I'll apply that, and you can see what that's done. Nice and smooth here, right? But kind of wonky over here now. All right, well, let's try another one. Smoothing out, let's try another one. Now you can see we're stretching right in that area. Now what's going on here is because these are connected in here, it's making it can't just, as far as relaxing, it doesn't have much wiggle room in there. So let's undo that some. Let's see, how far back can I go? I might just have to re-project that, which won't be a problem. Okay, so I'm just going to re-project this section right here. And to do that, I'm just going to go to UV. I'm going to do an automatic just on this part that I have selected right there. And that's what it did. Okay, so let's take those pieces and let's move them. And let's go to UV shell. Okay, you're that shell. And I'll resize these down here in just a second. Go to our edge. Select that one. We're going to do a cut and sew, move and sew. Get this one. Cut and sew, move and sew, and do this one. Cut and sew, move and sew. Okay, let's take our UV shell, and I'm going to go ahead and shrink this down. Come on, shrink, shrink, shrink. So that it is closer to that one. There we go. That'll do. Good enough. There we go. I'm going to line it up like that and make it a little bit bigger. Or not. Okay, there we go. Good enough. All right, so let's take a look at some other options we have with this thing. Let's see, I'm trying to find the lettering because the lettering helped us the most. Let's see. There we go. I'll leave it like that. So let's try just optimizing it the way it is. So let's just do a modify. Let's go to optimize. Oops. Let me undo that because I actually want to use the properties here. So I'm just going to do one iteration. I'm not going to do the relax. I'm going to go back to the unfold 3D. And let's just do an apply on that. And you can see how that nicely tightened that up there, right? And we can scroll around here. You know, our 1 is looking pretty tight there. So 1 optimization gave us a pretty smooth flow there. Okay, so I'm going to do the same for this side over here. I'll go back to modify, and I'll give it 1 optimization as well. I'll make sure that I am on the unfold, which I am. Boop, there we go. Get a slightly wonky shape there, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. Okay, so now I want to put all this, I want to fit all of this in here somehow, some way. So let's see, what options are we going to have? Well, let's start off by grouping these things somewhat. And what I'm looking at here is I'm leaving space, trying to leave even space on top and bottom for scaling so that I can scale these up here. All right, let's leave you. I'm going to put you right about here. And then I'm going to put you right about, okay, I'm going to put you here. I still need to bring in those other shapes that are kind of left off to the side. Our little square shapes. Those guys. So let's take you two. Let's move you closer to the edge. Let's get you. Oh, you're going to fit there. That's nice. Let's do this. And let's do this. Now, what I'm actually thinking is that I want to put these guys horizontal on the top and bottom and see what happens. But I'm not there yet. So I'm going to grab these, all of that. Go ahead, and I'm going to scale all of these. All right. Let's see if I can make this fit. I don't know, but I'm going to try. Let's take you. Bump you over there. Let's take you. Bump you over there. Let's take all three of you. Yeah, these might actually be too big to fit in here. Okay, there we go. We're fitting there. That's pretty good. Any chance I can get this guy, break my little rule I said about up, down? Can I get this guy? Oh, he's so close. But then that's going to be too long. So, let's see. Yeah, that's not fitting in my 1-1 space there. I'm so disappointed. Oh, is there any other way I can rotate these and get them to fit in here better? I don't think so. I think that's about the best I'm going to be able to pull off. Let's just try something else here. Let's grab these. Once again, breaking my little rule I said about how we're orienting things. Yeah, that's basically just going to be the same thing, but from the side. There we go. Okay, so let's put our circles back in there. Looks like we're going to have to make these a little bit smaller. Other option is to break these in a secondary place so I can stack them in there. I could do that. You know, like break them like right there on that seam so that they have two seams. And then they could probably fit right in there. I don't know that I'm really getting a huge advantage from doing that. So let's drop you guys down just a little bit. Yeah, maybe right about there. I'm going to move you down here. I want you. I'm going to rotate you. I'm going to put you there. And I want you over here. Take you guys, drop you guys straight down a little bit. So I've just got that overlap going on right there, which is terribly unfortunate. All right, let's do this. Let's take this and this. I'm just going to take those, and I'm just going to scale just those two down a little bit. Come on, scale. No, there it goes. Yeah, I'll just scale those just a little bit to try to get them to fit in here a little bit better. Let's see. Oh, okay. Come over here. There we go. I'm not touching there. All right, so there we go. So I did scale these down a little bit, but notice our checkerboard pattern, my pixel resolution really isn't drastically different. I'm going to go ahead and move this one just a little bit more. Give myself a little bit of gap space of padding right there. I can run it over this way. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I like this layout. I feel that I got a higher pixel resolution out of this one than what the version that we did in class, and it's a little bit different. Okay, so that's one of them down. Nice. So let's go ahead and I'm going to go after the other one now, at least part of it. And let's bring up our optimizer, or I'm sorry, our outliner. I'm going to go back to object mode. I'm going to select the one that I hid. I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to select this one. I'm going to hide it. And now I can just work on this guy that has a terrible layout. Let's pull my outliner out of there and I'll close it. Okay, so let's break this guy down now. And drink some coffee. There we go. That's nice. And what was he doing? Oh, yeah. I think I say and too much. There it is. Automatic. I'm just going to slap it with an automatic. And once again, I'm going to do some things differently from how I did this in class. So let's start by moving this over here, like so. A couple of things I know that I'm going to want. Nope, not edge. This and this. And what I know about these is I want those circles, which are on the top and bottom. They're going to be circles. I absolutely know that. So I'm going to go ahead and come in here and do a edge. I'm going to grab that, that, and come on. And that. Just going to go ahead and grab these edges. And do a Shift X to cut it. And go back to my UV shell. Let's grab these two shells and just kind of put them somewhere down here. There we go. That's the start of my UV layout, because I know I'm going to want those. This guy is my top one, so I'm going to put him up here. And this guy is my bottom one. I'm going to put him down here. Yeah, why not? All right, let's do something a little different with these parts here, if we can. Yeah, I don't know if this is really going to do what I want it to, but I'm going to try something here. So let's go with this one. And let's go to face mode. I'm going to go to face mode. Come over here, and let's get rid of my checker pattern. I don't really need it. And I'm going to go Shift. No, not all of them. Okay, and I'm just going to select right around here. I'm just after all these top guys. And just try something completely different. So with those, let's go up to UV. And so this automatic, as you saw me just do it with the rectangular crate, the automatic, cylindrical, planar, spherical, all of these, I can apply to just a selection as opposed to the whole thing. So I've got just those selected. I'm going to apply a spherical to it. And it gave me this thing, which has that UV layout, as opposed to trying to stitch it down there, okay? Hopefully you kind of see what I'm doing here. Obviously, that is pixel density that is like way too high. So I'm going to go ahead and scale that down. So I start getting closer to these. There we go. Now you can see there's some distortion going on in here. A little bit, because this really wasn't a sphere, and I would have needed another edge loop in there to really smooth this out. But I wanted to try this as a starting point and kind of see what I can do with it. Let's see. Let's just see how crazy this can get. I'm going to go with my edge mode, because I can always undo this if I don't like what ends up happening. I'm going to go ahead and just do a box select, get all of those. And I'm going to hold Shift, and I'm going to deselect all of those. Let's do a cut and sew, like so, which was stupid. I agree. Let's do a cut and sew, move and sew, which was not good either. So the problem that's going on here is that I've got chunks, whereas here I have them broken apart, right? So let's go back to UV shells. And I'm going to select all of these UV shells scrolling around here. And this is really just to show that there's multiple ways that we can go about doing things. All right, so I've got those shells selected. Let's pull all of them out here. Let's zoom in. Let's just get these shells. Let's come over here. And I'm going to go to edge mode, and I want these internal edges. Even though I think that what I really should do is duplicate what I just did with the other one, with that rectangular shaped one. But I want to try this anyway, so I'm going to do a Shift X to cut that. And now I'm going to come back up here, and let's redo this just to see what happens. And now we'll do a cut and sew, move and sew. Okay, that's actually what I was after. Do a UV shell. I'm going to select this shell. Get me some lettering. There we go. That's what I was after. UV. I want to put them. All right. There we go. So we've got some lettering. Let's try relaxing this. Just see what happens to it. Let's go modify. Bring up and optimize. Make sure I'm on unfold, because that's still what I want to use. Let's apply that. Woo! Look at that. That is a really nice looking layout right there. Okay, it kind of crunched in on itself a little bit there maybe, but not much. Let's pull this down. Woo, look at that stretching, right? Isn't that cool? So obviously that's not really what we would want. And try applying some more. And the reality is I'm not going to get this to, oops, oh boy, don't move the model. Move this. There you go. So I've still got that wonderful stretching going on right there. And realistically, it's actually getting worse. Or I'm moving it. No, it's not. It's not getting worse. It's getting better. Let's see. It stretches quite a bit as we get close to there, though. All right, so what if I pull it down here, go down there? Okay, so there you can see, now you can see some specifically as I get close to the top, but if we zoom in here, notice the consistency of this shape. So it's really not stretching. We're dealing more with like an optical illusion because, well, it's disappearing up there. Now, is that necessarily what I want? Well, not necessarily. I mean, it's a possible unwrap for that. The other way, which is what we did do in class, let's see, I'll go ahead and close that, is to come down here and take a look at, let's see, let's go to UV shells. We're in UV shells? Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the UV shells that go around here by rotating. There we go. I didn't want that whole chunk, but that's cool. Actually, let me just go ahead and grab all of these pieces. Yeah, grab it. There we go. So that way I can just kind of throw all of these right up over here. All right. And let's bring some of these a little bit closer. So I want to go ahead and, well, I'll leave them the way they are. Kind of duplicate what we did in with our previous one here in just a second. So let's go ahead and do edge mode. I want that edge. And I'll worry in more detail about whether or not making sure that my seams are all located in the same line here in just a minute. Let's do that one. And let's do that one. Then let's do this, 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 moving so, and this, 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 moving so. All right, so now what I'm going to try to do to kind of get this to maybe smooth out a little bit, let's go back to our UV shell. Let's grab that. I'm going to go ahead and rotate it. Let's see. Like so. And move it. Give me some lettering. That's still your lettering. All right, let me see my lettering over here for just a second. Okay, I'm going to put it over there. There we go. Just had to figure out where the letters were. Turn that off. All right, so you can see, that's wonderfully cool right there, right? All right, so let's see if we can do anything with this. I'm going to duplicate what we just did with the that other container, as well as what I just essentially did right here. So let's go to our edge, and I'm going to grab all these internal edges. And I'm going to go ahead and Shift X to cut them. And now I'm going to go back to UV shell. Let's grab our shell, like so. And I'm going to try seeing what we can do. And I really should have cut them before I stitched this together so that it would lay out better, but let's see what happens. Modify, let's bring up our optimize. Let's apply that, apply that, apply that. And the irony is, you see that it starts, as it's optimizing, it actually starts getting these pretty close together. I'm going to keep optimizing. You see, there's a seam there, but all of a sudden you don't hardly see it. This seam you still see, but I'm still working on this, so let's do some more optimizing. Yeah, that's a situation where I should have cut that before I stitched it, or I'm sorry, yeah, before I connected it up here. All right, well, I mean, they are seams, so, you know, I kind of expect a little wonkiness. So let's move this piece around a little bit, and let's see what we've got. I mean, that's not bad. That's livable. And you know, yeah, I mean, the seams are throwing things off, but keep in mind that with Quixel or Substance, that they are aware of the seams and that they very well manage as far as putting things where they need to be. So that's two different approaches to get essentially very similar type of layout here. I believe this top one is still a whole lot higher resolution, I think. At least it looks like it. That looks a little bit closer. Okay, so two different approaches. Which one is better? It really depends. And these aren't even the only approaches. These are just a couple of different ways. For instance, I could have left it kind of the way that it was originally done, but I really would like my modeler to have put an extra edge in there for me to work with, but they didn't, and that's okay. All right, so let's do some more unwrapping with this. I'm going to go ahead and hit UV shell. I'm going to go ahead and just grab this middle part right there, move it over to here. Let's go with a right click edge, and I'm going to do a cut and sew, move and sew, cut and sew, move and sew, and keep doing this until it wraps around like so. All right, that's all of my pieces except those inner pieces. So let's grab one of these UV shells, don't even care which one. I'm going to grab that one, bring it over here, zoom in, edge, edge. And we're wrapping. All right, UV shell, let's grab this shell, bring it down here, edge, that one, move and sew. Oops, I gotta select an edge. And we should be wrapping. Yep, we are. Okay, now, instead of these rings like that, I'm gonna go ahead and do the exact same thing I did with those edges in our other container. So let's zoom in on these guys, like so. And I'm going to, let's see if I can do it this way. No, let's just go ahead. It won't take long. So with shift and then double click, it went through and it got all of those for me. Shift X. Let's try that again. Shift double click. Didn't get them all. So the topology is a little bit different on this one. That time I did. X. Shift X. Alt middle mouse button. I want this one. Not that one. Not that one. And Shift X. And then up here, I'll do the same thing. I got it. Shift X. All right. So that means I can now come over here and let's do this guy. I'll hold down left mouse button, box select, hold down Shift, and do a box select on the other side. Oops, that was dumb. Okay, let's get everybody. All right, now we can do this. There we go. And we will do a cut and sew, move and sew. And let's see, like so. And if I'm careful going right down the middle, I should be all right here. Poink. Cut and sew, move and sew. Okay, let's just grab that whole thing. Carefully go down the middle here. Cut and sew, move and sew. That was dumb because I had those selected. Oh, yeah, I can't because, yeah, right. These are the inside pieces. So, if they're stitched down there, they can't be stitched up here, which I wasn't really thinking about what I was doing. So I actually only want it stitched to this middle piece. Why? Because that's what I'm selecting to do. That's just what I want to do. I want it stitched down that way, going down. No, I don't know why. It's just what I'm going to do. So let me go ahead and box select that. And get that one. Cut and sew. There we go. And I'll finish it off by stitching onto this side here. Like so. Well, actually, let's do it this way. And just go. Nope. Yeah, that's not going to do what I want. Okay, in hindsight, yeah, let's just stitch it to these bottom pieces here. Uh-oh, I have a meeting in 5 minutes. Oh, no, in 15 minutes. Good enough. Come on, right down the middle. There we go. All right, so we'll do it that way. Move and sew, yeah. And so, figuring out where do I want to sew those, it just came about, playing around with it. Okay, I didn't like that, I didn't like that, so yeah, we'll do it that way, whatever. Move and sew, there we go. So now I'm ready to kind of start putting these things together. And you can see this takes up a different amount of space than this does. And I'm going to leave them like this for the moment. Oh, dismiss, yeah, go away. Although I might want to start looking at it and kind of decide which one do I like. Do I have a preference of these? And I kind of like this one a little bit better because it's straighter, it's easier to deal with. Even though that one seems just a little bit cleaner. But let's see how they all fit into here, into our areas that we have to play around with. So let's start moving some things around. I'm going to grab that shell. You are my outer piece. So I'm going to rotate you like so. And maybe put you here. Sure, why not? Maybe there. I like that. And I'm going to take you. Let's see, let's kind of stack these down here as we can. Let's take you. Stack you down over here. All right. I'm going to take you, but maybe up here. And you, I'm just going to move you right into here. There we go. Ooh, you take up a lot of space. So let's see, I could fit you there, it looks like, and I can fit you there, it looks like. All right, let's see what we can do as far as resizing this any. Let's make it bigger. All right, let's see if we can still get this to fit in here. Nope, just individual pieces, this one. Okay, that's still fitting there. That's nice. Okay, that's in there. That's nice. So this can go up some. Good. That's tight, but okay. Ooh, maybe not so okay. Well, let's see. See what happens here. Okay, you fit there. You fit there. And you do actually fit there. Okay, now I'm wondering, and you fit there. I can move you up a little bit, which then allows me to move you up a little bit, you up a little bit. I can move you guys up a little bit, and I feel like I can stretch this just a little bit more. Now at this point, you can definitely see that if this one was laid out as that one is, see, this one is essentially stretching all the way through. So I'm like pretty much done. I've got a fair amount of wasted space in here. I really don't like the amount of wasted space I have in here. So I'm tempted to go through and redo this one to match like that one. So let's go ahead and take care of that really quick. So I'm going to take that and move it out over here. And to get it going again, I'm going to go ahead and do a, let's see. So I thought it was in these selections. So yeah, there it is. I'm going to go ahead and redo an automatic on it. Kind of a start over point there. And start putting some of these pieces together the way that I would like them put together. So let's grab a UV shell. I got you. Right about here. Okay, you are the tall pieces. Let's go E. I'm sorry, E. Let's rotate you like so. And I'm going to go ahead and do an edge. Let me get this edge. Moving so. Moving so. Moving so. And get these internal ones right here. And do a Shift X. And then I'm going to go back to my UV shell, select that, modify. So see how quickly by redoing that as an automatic, so you can see how quick it was to get back to that point. So you can do some stuff and try it. If you don't like how it works out, redo it. So let's go ahead and keep applying that. Okay, I'm going to stop it right there for the moment and do a W, move it up over here, do an R, scale it down, W, move it up over here. Okay, that looks like we're pretty close to the same scaling, I think. And it also looks pretty similar. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this. No, I'm not. I lied. I'm going to keep it like that. I'm tempted to do a little rotation on it, just to kind of offset some of these things that are going on. But this is okay. All right, let's do a W. I'm going to move you over here. You over here. I'll move you. Now I've definitely got a little bit of space on each side of these. So I'm going to go ahead and do another scale up on this. That's probably as big as I can get it. In fact, it looks like this bottom one went too far. I might just manually scale that one down. All right, so let's select this guy. Yeah, he's in there. Good enough. Got to move it down a little bit to give room, like so. Get this one. And it is in there. Good enough. You and you. I'm going to go ahead and move you guys up just a little bit. And you are, yeah, you're just a little bit too big. I'm going to scale you down just a little bit. Get it back inside here. Oops. R. To right about there. All right. I still have some wasted space in here. I can pack other things from other objects into this if I had like a smaller object or something. But I'm going to deal with this one. In fact, this is the one that I'll use going forward on this. Just kind of double checking. Looks like our tops, these round circles, have a slightly higher pixel resolution. That's okay. I don't really mind that. Okay, yeah. So there we go. All right, so there's a quick review of what we did. So some of these techniques that I didn't show you in class might be beneficial on your first assignment. Some of those things that you had to unwrap on that. Any questions on this, let me know. And as the semester continues, we will look at some other ways that we can also do our unwrapping.